and I am Shruti, an ISB admission consultant at GOALisB. While you are gearing up for the admission cycle for the 2025 intake, and if you're considering the ISB MBA, there will be a lot of questions that you might have before you can decide which program you want to apply to and when do you want to apply to the ISB MBA. So in this video, we are addressing the questions around the ISB MBA program that you might have as a part of your decision making process. While everyone must have and will have their own personal answers of why they are choosing ISB, there are some very apparent and obvious answers of why you can look at ISB as an MBA program, especially if you're looking at an Indian 1 year MBA program. So, first is the global recognition that ISB has. It is definitely ranked highest amongst the Indian programs in the FT MBA rankings 2025. Then the career acceleration that ISB has, even the FT ranking vouchers for it. There's a 229% salary increase that has been reported post the ISB MBA. And of course, the powerful ISB network that you become a part of post the ISB MBA. So these are reasons good enough for you to consider ISB MBA programs. And next comes the question of, which programs, what are the different MBA programs that you can apply to? And these are the questions that we'll be addressing in the next few slides. If you're planning to apply to the ISB MBA program, this is your go-to resource for anything around the ISB MBA admissions process. And we'll be coming up with program-specific admission guides as well shortly in the coming few weeks. So let's look at the ISB MBA programs that you can apply to. The first is the ISB PGP VIAL. Now, this program is a new program. This has been started in 2024. The first round has just completed in terms of the intake for the PGP VIAL program. And this is the program for applicants with 0 to 2 years of work experience. So if you are a fresh graduate or you're about to graduate soon, this is one program that you can consider if you're writing the CAT exam or the GMAT or the GRE exam. Next comes the ISB PGP program. This is the flagship 1 year MBA program that ISB offers. And this is for people with work experience at least of 2 years. So if you have 2 years or more of work experience, and you want to go to a full-time ISB MBA, then ISB PGP is the program that you should look at. Next comes the ISB Executive MBA. So ISB Executive MBA is offered in two formats. One is the weekend MBA format and one is the modular format. So the weekend MBA format is the ISB PGP Pro and the modular format is the ISB PGP Max. There's another format of ISB MBA that you can look at, which is the MFAB program, which is for the applicants with a family business background. So if you're coming from a family business background and you have complete clarity that you want to go back to the family business background, then this is a very good program for you because it handles the nuances of what you might face as the professional who's working in a family business. So this is as far as the ISB MBA programs are concerned, and this is an overview that you should have in mind to check your eligibility and the program that you want to select. So the ISB eligibility requirements for ISB PGP VIAL, you need to have a graduate degree or equivalent. You can also have a CA or a medical degree as well, but your work experience should be less than 2 years. If you're a final year student or if you're graduating very soon, and anywhere between 0 to 2 years of work experience, ISB PGP VIAL is the full-time 2 year MBA program which you can look at. Next comes the ISB PGP. So ISB PGP is the full-time 1 year MBA program, and the eligibility for that is having a bachelor's or an equivalent qualification and at least 2+ years of work experience. Next comes the ISB PGP Pro and the ISB PGP Max. These are the two formats of the ISB Executive MBA which are offered. PGP Pro requires you to have a bachelor's degree and a minimum of 5 years of work experience. And for PGP Max, you need to have a bachelor's degree or equivalent and a minimum of 10 years of work experience. The next format is the ISB MFAB program. The work experience is not mandatory, but 2 years of work experience is something that is preferred. However, you should have a very clear background of family business and your plans should be to get back to the family business. This is the eligibility criteria for the ISB MBA programs. Now let's discuss the entrance exams which are required for admission to the ISB MBA programs. For ISB PGP VIAL, the required entrance exams are either the CAT score of the current year that you are applying to, or you can have the GMAT or the GRE scores, which should be test center based. And the validity for GMAT or GRE scores is 5 years, whereas for the CAT score, it is valid only for the year that you are applying to for the program. So this is the eligibility for the entrance exams point of view for ISB PGP while for ISB PGP the CAT is not a valid score. ISB will accept only the test center based GMAT or GRE test scores. Any of these will do, so you can decide which one you want to take and submit your application for ISB PGP. For ISB PGP Max and for ISB PGP Pro, there is no entrance test requirement. You do not need to write the GMAT or the GRE exam. No entrance test is required for applying to ISB PGP Pro. So this is one advantage of applying to this particular program. You are not bound by the entrance tests or the preparation going forward. Next comes the ISB MFAB. ISB MFAB does not accept anything like the CAT score or the GMAT or the GRE score. ISB for the MFAB program accepts the BAT test score. So when you're applying to the ISB MFAB program, you have to write the BAT test, which is the business admissions test, which is designed by ISB for admissions to the ISB MFAB program. This is as far as the required entrance tests are concerned for applying to the ISB MBA programs. The next obvious question that we receive a lot of times is, does ISB prefer GMAT or the GRE? Whether I should write the GMAT or the GRE, which will increase my chances. So what you need to know is that there is an average GMAT score and an average GRE score at the admissions process for ISB PGP over the last few years. For the ISB PGP program, the GMAT average has been around 710, 720 on the classic GMAT, which comes to around 655 on the GMAT Focus Edition. And for the GRE scores, it is around 329, 328 on the GRE test. So the average has been around 328 or 329 on the GRE test. So this is what your benchmark should be. If you are close to this particular average, then from the test score point of view, you are well sorted. However, the test score requirements, or there is no minimum test score that ISB requires. So there is no minimum cutoff for the GMAT or the GRE test scores. It is not that if you have lesser than the average at the school, you will not get admitted or you don't have a chance. You definitely have a chance at that. The process is very holistic. Even people with high GMAT or GRE scores have been rejected a lot of times over the years. And, there are so many things that the school looks at. So make sure that you're not bound by anything which is like any preference for the GMAT or the GRE. Both the test scores are equally valid and equally acceptable for the schools. We have had equal results with each of these. There is no minimum cutoff for the GMAT or the GRE test score at ISB. You can apply to the ISB PGP program with any test score that you have. The only condition is that it should be a test center based test score. So this is as far as your GMAT or GRE test score is concerned for the ISB admissions process. This is the ISB PGP application that I'm talking about. For the ISB PGP application, the first round of application would be sometime. The deadline would be sometime in mid of September or first week of September. You can time yourself accordingly. The actual deadlines will be available towards the end of July whatsoever. So now that you are planning for your GMAT or GRE test, this is also a good time to look at your profiles and see if you want to enhance your profiles in any manner. Take your GMAT or GRE test by July so that you have ample time to work on your applications. This is max by July if you're planning for R1. So you will also know by then whether you have the requisite scores, whether you want to enhance your scores, whether you want to retake the test. And in case you have any questions about, whether you have the right test score or not, whether your profile is correct for ISB or not, you can always get in touch with us for a profile evaluation. Don't get bogged down by the test scores, but yes, test scores are an important part of your evaluation. So make sure that you are, timing yourself properly, because applying is definitely critical. It definitely has an advantage if you are applying to R1. So this is what your timeline should be like. By July beginning, you should get done with your GMAT or your GRE test, and then start working on your applications, start introspecting. If you want to work with an admissions consultant, that is the maximum time that you should, get started on your applications. And in case you need a profile evaluation, feel free to get in touch with us. And also do get in touch with the recommenders well in time. So by July, when you're starting up with your applications and you have your application strategy in place, don't get in touch with your recommenders just towards the deadline. Get in touch with them early ahead in the timeline so that they also can put together their thoughts and put a strong recommendation for you. So this concludes the first part of the ISB MBA comprehensive guide, and we'll be coming up with the next few parts of the remaining questions that you might have around the ISB MBA admission or the ISB MBA programs. So all the best. And in case you need a profile evaluation, feel free to get in touch with us at GOALisB.